Here we are, folks. It is Hostile Galaxy and Kitchen Table Wargaming Battle Report. This is League Game... Do you remember what League Game this is?
It's 6.
6. League Game 6. So we're still doing 1,500 points. We should have one at 1,750, and then the finale...
I think they're both 2Ks.
Oh, are they both 2K? All right. I like that way better. 1,750 is a weird number. You can tell I haven't studied that part of this game for a while. So we'll have 2 more games after this, and then it'll be done. So I'm at 1,497 points, I think is how the math works out on this. So I've got the Demon Prince over here. He just has talons. He has the Umberlific Crystal for some movement shenanigans. I've got Exalted Sorcerer on disc. He is the Warlord. He has the Arrogance of the Aeons, or whatever you want to say. Warlord trait, so he can reroll denies. They can use 2 Cabal rituals in the single psychic phase. Then I have Ahriman, just cruising around, chilling like a villain, doing what he does. We've got a 6-man squad of Terminators. We've got 3 5-man rubrics, and we've got a 5-man Terminator squad. So it's pretty similar from my last game, but I switched out Sorcerer. I had Terminator and Sorcerer armor for the Demon Prince, and a couple less Chaos spawns. So I've got a unit of 2, got the Hellbrute, and then I've got the Dreadclaw drop pod again. I am playing Cult of Duplicity, and that's really all the shenanigans that need to be mentioned. I do, in the 2 Terminator bricks, there's a Hellfire and a Soul Reaper in each of those as well. So those are there, and I don't think that's anything else I needed to say right at this moment in time. So we'll be back to take a look at my opponent, who is also, Thousand Suns. It's the luck of the randomizing opponent picker. So we're going to be playing, there's a lot of things that we have that are very similar, and then we have a few drastic differences. It'll be kind of fun. It'll be really fun to see how the game plays out. We're both quite curious. Here we are. So these are Mr. Patrick's Thousand Suns. This is a 1,500 point list. He is running Cult of Magic today. So I'm Cult of Duplicity for teleport shenanigans. He's going to be Cult of Magic. Just to have things be a little different, and he was bored with Cult of Duplicity. So there you have it. There's a Forge Fiend back there with Ectoplasma Cannons, 3 of them if you want to count. This is a Terminator and Sorcerer and Terminator armor. I said that backwards. He does have a couple of upgrades. He has the Aether Stride.
No, he has Aether Stride.
It gives him more movement, better weapon and ballistic skill.
Better weapon and ballistic skill. No. Battle Psyker gives him better weapon.
Oh, that's right. That one does that.
And 1 extra attack.
The Aether Stride lets him move like he's flying.
Yeah, lets him move like he's flying.
Distance.
And he has the Seer's Bane.
Yep.
Which is nasty against Psykers.
It's a terrific relic sword to take if you're going to go beat up on Psykers, which he happens to be doing today.
And he's going into Teleport Strike.
Yep, and he's going to Deep Strike, so he'll be a pain in my flesh until he comes out of the flesh. Haha. And then we have 4 Chaos spawns. It's very nice. We've got 6 Terminators here, the same as mine for the 6. But he has another 6, and this guy right here has been upgraded with the...
Rites of Consolence?
Coalescence, I think. Yeah. But they regen wounds, so you just kill them or you don't. That's kind of how those guys work. It's kind of handy to have on your Terminators. If I had a few extra points, I would also do that. But alas, I don't. This dude is an Exalted Sorcerer. He is not the Warlord. He also has a relic.
He has the Umberlific Crystal.
Oh, that's right. He has the crystal for the teleport shenanigans. This one is an Exalted who does have the Warlord traits, and I don't remember them.
He's running the Arrogance of Aeons, or Eons, the Athenian Scroll, and he is Rahati, or whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Gives him 1 extra psychic power for a cheap Ahriman.
It's very nice, very sassy. The Athenian Scroll, or however you pronounce it, is an ability to roll an extra d6 for a specific power that he can cast. But he can do it all game, so it's kind of handy. Then there's a 10-man rubric squad, 9 of them with the Flamers.
9-man. It's only 9.
It is only 9. How weird is that?
8 Flamers and 1 Sorcerer.
I just realized you said 9, and I was like, well, that's weird. There are 5 in these 2 bricks here, but you have the Sorcerer plus your rubrics, Sorcerer plus rubrics. So we have those, and that's it. He is starting with a whopping
1,500 points.
1,500 points, so I lose because of that, and 1 command point. So I win because of that. So we have to play the game out is what we're finding out, because you can't ever decide a game on those things alone.
I mean, you're at 97, so take 3 off of your command points and we're even.
Oh, there you go. Or you just take 3 off of your points and get rid of Yeah, we could be here all night doing that. So we'll be back in a minute to show you the mission. Again, it's a league game, so it's already been set up. So we'll show you the map, deployments, all those good things, and we'll see you in a second. Here we are, folks. We are deployed. We are looking at the mission is called Conversion. So you've got the 9-inch bubble here in the middle and a objective in the center. You've got objectives there, back here, back here. You deploy in a table quarter, and yeah, that's all there's to say about that, except for all their special rules. You only gain a Battleforge CP if your warlord is on the table, or if he's in a transport, which is also on the table. So it doesn't have to be literally on the table, as long as he's there in transport or boots on the ground. Then you gain two mission bonus points if you hold an objective marker in no man's land, of which there are 3. You gain 1, and this is at the end of your player turn. You gain 1 for controlling your own objective marker, and you gain 4 if you can go snipe your opponent's objective marker. And that is 4 bonus points per turn. So it's pretty interesting. It's trying to motivate you very hard to go steal your opponent's home objective. So that's that. Those are the mission rules. And we have, as you can see, my army is deployed on this side. I've got some rubrics here in the corner, Demon Prince. We've got 6-man Termi squad, Ahriman, Exalted, more rubrics. I got a couple of spawn hiding up there in that building. I am deep striking my 5-man Terminator squad, and the Hellbrute is in the Dreadclaw drop pod. Look at all these words. This boy, Terminator, Sorcerer, yes, he is deep striking, so he's not really there. We'll pretend he's not there. We have Terminators, 4 spawn. We have, this is the dude with the Umbrellific Crystal.
Yes.
Yep. You got the big blob of Warp Flamer goodness. You got some rubrics, more Terminators. I was trying to see if there's a character in there. It's just the 6 Terminators. Forge Fiend, more rubrics, and then your Warlord is that one, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And that is it on the deployment. Then for mission secondaries, or game secondaries, if you will, this is what we're looking at. I'm deciding to try raise banners. I'm going to go for Psychic Interrogation. Yes, that'll be interesting. And Assassination, because it seems like you always play with your characters a lot in this game for 1,000 Suns. He is taking Mutate Landscape, Engage on all fronts, and Sorceress Prowess. We'll see. Very saucy. Quite interested to see how this game plays out. It's going to be probably a lot of psychic shenanigans, denials, crying tears of how did you deny that and how did you get that off? Well, that's how it goes. So we shall do the roll off. We'll see who is going to go first. I'll let you roll first. We'll just roll right over here. Oh, that's a 2. That's optimistic. I have rolled a 1. Bless you, sir. So it's going to be Patrick taking first turn. We will be back. Well, it's going to be awkward. Patrick's 1,000 Suns, turn 1. Next, I can't just say 1,000 Suns. I have Patrick, or mine. Yes, Patrick's 1,000 Suns, turn 1. Alrighty, look at the devastation he has wrought. Oh wait, he hasn't. Alright, so he's doing to me what Jonathan did to me last game. He moved a thing. Well, I take it back. He moved a couple things, but didn't really do a lot for me. This guy came forwards a little bit, so he can see down some angles here, you know, that direction and that direction. So that's not bad. And if he stomps his big toe into that building, he can shoot my Terminator, so that's rude. These guys shuffled up. That guy shuffled up. And everybody else has still. He cast a couple powers, so these guys have a 4 of invulnerable save, Weavers of Fate. They are glamorous in the Tzeentchian ways, so they're a -1 to be hit. And if you hear the stomping sounds, my dog is, I guess, trying to dig for gold in his kennel back there. I'm not sure what he's doing. And that's it. So that was the end of his first turn. So now we'll go over to my 1,000 Suns, turn uno as well. Be back in a second. Well, it is the end of my 1,000 Suns turn 1, and moved these guys over. I moved them over, and there were still like almost 7 inches away from that objective, 6-ish, something like that. So it would have taken 2 turns to get there, and I thought that's not worth it. So I then moved this guy over. He was outside of deny range, and I used 7 Cabal points to make the just the regular spell go off. And I jumped them over with Sorceress Facade. So they're sitting there, tucked out of line of sight, holding a no man's land objective. Ahriman and these guys scooted that direction. They have Glamour of Tzeentch and Presage. These guys are hanging back. We've got some bubbles back here, holding things down, keeping pockets of no deep striking. Moved this guy up forwards a little bit, and these guys are stringing out here. The spawns have moved up. Probably won't do a whole lot with that. Then we deep struck the drop pod here, and the Hellbrute failed his charge with the reroll. He made the charge because he's a boss like that, and took 3 wounds off the Forge Fiend. What? Then the Forge Fiend hit back, but he's not kitted for that whole combat thing, so he didn't really do anything. That's it. So at the end of the turn, because I'm holding an objective in no man's land, I do pick up 2 points for the mission bonus, and that, folks, gives me the lead. Watch out. So we're going into Patrick's Thousand Suns turn 2 right now. 'Tis the end of Patrick's Thousand Suns turn. These guys, Umbrellific Crystal, their happy selves over here, did some psychic shenanigans. He cast a smite and did 3 mortal wounds. Then he used the Cabal points to daisy chain another smite into them for another 3 mortal wounds. So he killed 3 dudes from smite. I denied that many spells. Nothing. It was really not cool. He was rolling 11s on almost everything he cast too. I was like, come on, man. So those guys died. There was 2 left, and then there's 9 D6 flamers over there. Plus he got his Pyrite Flux. Yeah, like it's like, dude, it's we called an Uber. Picked him right up. These guys suffered also 3 mortal wounds from smite from those guys, I believe. Mm-hmm. So I lost 1 to that. I took a wound from all the shooting from both Terminator squads combined. It was Glamour of Tzeentch, baby. Hard to hit those guys, apparently. Over here, nothing. Move these guys up. Over here's where the real excitement was. Terminator bad boy, deep strikes over here. Setting himself up, for a good charge on the Hellbrute. And the drop pod. Mr. Forge Fiend fell back. He ran away bravely. These guys came forwards a little bit and then just unleashed some psychic domination, killing the drop pod. The sorcerer did all that himself, right? Yes. 2 spells, killed the drop pod. And then we were giggling because he had his Tzeentch's Firestorm with his plus to cast, or the extra dice to cast and all that, onto the Hellbrute, which I've not had the greatest success with Tzeentch's Firestorm. It does like 2 or 3 wounds, and it's kind of fun. It did 6. So Homeboy does 6 mortal wounds. It was amazing. So that guy was down to 2 wounds left, and then he just popped him with a... oh, no, he did Astral Blast on that. That was what finished him off with this one.
It was... No, I did Astral Blast on...
Oh, was it that? Okay.
Yeah, on the drop.
It was funny. It was just like, wow, cool. So he took care of 16 wounds worth of vehicles over here with like 4 spells. It was pretty magnificent. And that's that. So these guys over here kind of scooted forward. They're scooting forward. Everybody's kind of moving around. The spawns are 4 of them vulnerable save again. And that's it. So he will pick up 2 points at the end of his turn for holding that middle objective. And because it's in no man's land. And that's where we're going to stop. So we'll be back for my Thousand Suns turn 2 next. Alrighty, folks. Here's what we did. We had also a good psychic phase, which was kind of helpful because I needed something helpful.
Well, you can go ahead and tell them that you did 20.
All of these were a problem. Flamers are bad. Moved up Mr. Demon. I deep struck these guys that were 9 inches away over there. I brought these dudes back. Brought RMM back with them, so they're kind of bodyguarding him. They're Glamored of Tzeentch over here. Demon Prince, these guys, and Ahriman did, what did we math it out to be? 16 mortal wounds, I think, to this squad? 17 mortal wounds. So the one sorcerer was left with a wound, and then there was all of them shooting at him, so he died. So that was nice. I enjoyed that. We did nothing over there. I did bring...
one guy.
Oh, I did.
And left 1 dude on 2.
Yeah, that was in shooting, and that was actually shooting, though. I didn't do any more psychic against them. So I shot and killed 1 dude and hurt a guy. I charged him with the Chaos Spawn, did lots and lots of wounds, and then he rolled all saves. It was pretty cool. If he, yeah, he didn't hit me with the stave, and then he killed him. It's horrible. Over here, this guy, he moved up here, and then he did the psychic damage against his mean Terminator sorcerer guy. Yeah, another 5 little mortal wounds, just enough to kill him, no more, no less. It was perfect. I did spend 2 CP, one for him to cast a spell that's already been cast, so he cast Doombolt, and then one to cast an additional spell, so he could use Temporal Surge after he finished smoting the guy to death. It was great. He moved back over here. This squad used Sorcerer's Facade on this squad. Oh, my camera's not working. Oop, and there it goes. So they came down here. Obviously, Terminator being dead made that open so I could drop in here. All of them are in the cover, and we shot, and we tickled a guy over there. He failed to save. That one in the back got wounded. And that was it. My Chaos Spawn, I thought they were going to be heroes for me, doing the charge, killing a Terminator. At least one I wanted to get through, 2 damage attacks. I spent the CP for their choosing to reroll wounds, so I had like, what was it, 8 wounds or something like that, and Mr. Patrick just rolled all the saves. Didn't even kill the one guy. It was good. So anyways, it's been fun. So we've taken back territory. But now he's just going to bring in lots of some things to be doing the killing. So welcome back. It'll be turn 3 for Patrick and his 1,000 Suns in a minute. Okay, folks, we realized we were forgetting to score the Sorcerer's Prowess for his destruction of my drop pod and my Hellbrute, and he did also kill with the Mortal Woundings, that squad that I put on that back objective. Thanks, appreciate you. So he has scored 7 points already for Sorcerer's Prowess. I never score anything, I'm a little bitter. Again, Psychic Phase, not too shabby, and I couldn't deny anything. Cat, get on my nerves, he's back here banging on the window. We did some movings around over here. A few things were cast. Lost a guy? Yeah, I did lose a guy. I took another wound. Then they splashed the Astral Blast business onto Aramon, and this guy picked up a wound over here in this corner as well. And the majority of it, though, was all focused down back in that corner, and they picked up that squad. The Chaos Spawn are also buffed up again with Weaver of Fate, so they're 4 up Invul. And I feel like that was everything that happened in that turn.
That wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, that was about it. Oh, he did mutate.
I finally cast my mutate.
We laughed about how he should have done it. I mean, he remembered at the end of turn 1 and the end of turn 2, and then this time he did do it back there. There's nobody in range to deny it, so he finally got his mutate to go off. Was much rejoicing for that. So he's picked up a couple more on the secondaries. He had 8 for primary, and it is now 1,000 Suns me, turn 3. So we'll be back in a second and see if I can do a thing. I'm not sure. We'll find out. We'll be back. This game, folks, has been saucy. Raise the banner back here, so these guys are a little bit useless, but they'll still be alive in the next turn, so there's that. This dude got swole by the warp, made his charge. I made a 9-inch charge on him, a 9-inch charge on them, and a 9-inch charge on him. And so I was like, okay, cool. I've got all these 9-inch charges off that I didn't expect to make all of them. And then I figured I probably needed to start here to whittle them down. I did kill 1 in Psychic and 1 in Shooting, or wounded 1 in Shooting.
You killed 2 in Psychic.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, because you had a hurt one. But combat was like, I didn't know what to do. I spent 2 CP for a +1 to wound, wounding these guys on 2s. I gave them Presage from my Rubric squad, so they were hitting on 2s, re-rolling the 1s. Hitting, not a problem. I rolled 7 1s. A +1 to wound. I only needed 2s, and I rolled 7 1s. It was that bad. I managed to kill 1 more in combat. He didn't do anything. The rest of them didn't do anything, so these 2 guys are still alive. These 2 boys punched back and took him down to a single wound, which is bad for me because the Sorcerer's Prowess secondary of Mr. Patrick, which I didn't think would be that big of a deal, means that all he has to do is smite that guy and he dies and he gets 5 points because he's a character. It's bad. All likewise over here. Spent the 2 CP, he interrupted, he spent the other CP to choose the mutation, and I managed to not make very many saves, like I made 1. and he's down to 2 wounds left, which means he'll also die to psychic, probably, most likely, unless the denies come back in my favor. I did kill 2 full, or it would have been 2 full, but there was a guy on 2, so I did 8 wounds to the Chaos Spawn with my Demon Prince. So he did the only thing in combat that was worth the doing in that turn. It was really weird. I had a psychic phase, decent shooting phase, then an amazing charge phase, and then did nothing. It was real bad. So we'll be back. It's just such an insane game right now. It's like ridiculously close, but Patrick's secondary, just his Sorcerer's Prowess, is keeping him ahead, I believe, on points. It is that close. We both scored the same on primary every turn, but we're just neck and neck on that one secondary, and he's about to score potentially 10 for killing both these characters in the psychic phase, unless my dice come back and love me. It's wild. So we'll be back, turn 4, Patrick and his 1,000 Suns. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it was as feared. I will say this. My deny dice were playing a strong game this turn, and it took many attempts, plus Cabal points, plus command points, plus tricks to get this Demon Prince to die, and then to get him to die. But in the end, they did. So that puts Patrick at maxed out for Sorcerer's Prowess, which, you know, you never know. I've never had good luck with it, and I figured it would be the silliest secondary in this instance with all the denies available. That's what I get for thinking. And mind you, I would have only picked up like 4 points from it, because even though we both picked up units every psychic phase, I have not picked up valuable ones like he did. So it is what it is. He did do the charging. He killed my Terminators that were there, and his Forge Fiend finally shot
and did nothing
into Ahriman, and he saved all his saves. So yeah, but that leaves me with a whopping 3 units. I've got some Terminators, Ahriman, and some Rubrics. And makes me kind of go, huh? So we'll be back after my 1,000 Suns turn 4. And I'm going to see if I can make him sweat a little bit. Not really sure if I can, but we'll give it a good old-fashioned try. We'll be back in a minute. Tis the end of my 1,000 Suns turn. So the dice didn't like me. I was a little disappointed. We did kill one of them with a Doom Bolt, and that was about the most exciting thing that happened. The Terminators got Glamour of Tzeentch off. I'll give him that. And then Ahriman was supposed to do an advance, so he needed a 4 to get onto that objective. He failed it, so I ended up CP re-rolling the advance, and he rolled a 3. So he still wasn't close enough. So then I kind of had problems, because these guys were going to do Sorcerer's Facade if I got it off, and they were going to jump back there, and they were going to cause all kinds of trouble back in that back corner. Maybe kill his Rubrics if I made my charge, which I could make charges tonight. I just couldn't, you know. Yeah, it's been interesting. So I had spent my command point at the wrong time, doing the wrong thing, because I could have just used Temporal Surge, which I did to move him out of the way. I went back to try to correct my mistake and use Cabal points to let them do the psychic action to regen a command point, which I did. And then Patrick denied it. So I didn't. So once again, I was stuck with not being able to teleport them. So I messed that up a little bit. Then we shot the 3 shots that could see at them and didn't do anything. That was the end of my turn. Again, weirdly, points-wise, we're like dead even on points. Except for, excuse the doggy door, except for the secondaries. His secondary is just killing me. So we'll come back for Patrick's 1,000 Suns turn 5, where he will pick up 12 on primary the first time. Either of us scored 12 on primary, and that's going to be kind of handy for him. And then we'll see if he can get his mutate off again, because that will really put the nail in the coffin. And if he doesn't, if I deny, I might have the smallest prayer of a glimmer of a hope of a chance, but I kind of doubt it. So we'll be back in a second for Patrick's turn 5. Here we are, folks. So end of his turn, those guys are still fine. He did the smart thing. He brought his spawn around this side. He brought his Terminators down this side. Failed the charge with the Terminators. Had to spend his CP to re-roll it. And then barely barely made it. Just a whisker of them making the charge, which crushed my soul because I really needed them to not make the charge because I needed these guys alive. And it ended up not mattering because the spawn powered up and did a lot of wounding. He rolled 1 for his mutation, which gave the extra AP, which meant that my saves were much worse and I failed most of them. So, took care of that. Nobody's engaged with Armon, so he's just hanging out there. And these guys managed to get their last mutate. I matched him in dice, but didn't exceed him in dice, so I couldn't do any, snaking out away from him, sadly. So yeah, it's kind of grim. So we're about to go to my turn, and I will have most for certainly lost to this game, but I can still do something. So I'm going to do something, and then we'll come back, and we'll show you the actual totals and the final standings of everything. We'll be back in just a minute for my Thousand Suns turn 5. It is the end of my turn, and we tried. All my thoughts and ideas were crushed when I remembered that this guy can't use Sorcerer's Facade for whatever reasons that are unbeknown to me, even though he's a mighty sorcerer. So I did a lot of mortal wounding as much as I could, failed a couple, or we got denied on a couple, I guess, and took up a couple of Terminators. So I scored 4 more at the end of the game because I still held this objective. And that was all I got out of it. So I ended the night with a score of 51 points, and Patrick ended with 62. And primary-wise, he was only ahead of me by 4, including the mission bonus. That's what the extra 8 on the end of those are. But his secondary game was strong. So never ever would I have guessed that taking Mutate against the Psychic Heavy Army would have worked, but it did very well. And then I never ever would have guessed Sorcerer's Prowess would work against another Psychic Army, and it did. So color me a fool and giggle at me because that was bad. And then I don't know why I took Psychic Interrogation again, because I already know that that's a terrible choice for Psychic Armies anyways. And there you go, look at that. He's got all these boys in the wrong place to not do anything, and it didn't matter because I also had my boys in the wrong place and couldn't do anything, especially with that fight right there where I rolled all the ones in the world after spending all my CPs and it made no difference. We both agree that's probably where the game turned on its head a little bit for me, because then that squad just got mulched and I didn't have a way to get out of the way fast enough after that. So very well played, sir. Very well played. It was a fun Thousand Suns victory. Thousand Suns win.
Except for this side.
Except for the fact that one of the Thousand Suns. It was a practice game, guys. It was all paintballs. The psychic stuff, I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thank you, sir, for coming over and playing the game. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So hopefully y'all enjoy this, and we will see you in the next one. I guess we'll be at 2,000 points for the next league game. So come back and check that out. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you later.